malaking criminal organization ang aming teorya na nag-ooperate sa ating bansa. And because of that, no, we will have to come up with a legislation to ensure that this will not happen anymore kung meron tayong batas. Pangalawa, yung strict implementation nitong batas na gagawin natin. At pangatlo, syempre, bringing them to justice. No? Yan ang napaka-importante dyan.
I-invite nyo rin po ba si Senator Bato?
Yes, we are going to invite him. Definitely, we will. By the way, we're not inviting him because he's a senator, no? We're inviting him because he used to be the Director General in which libo-libo ang napatay. Kaya I just like to say this, no, ha? Sinasabi niya kasi na wala kaming karapatang mag-imbestiga. Meron kaming karapatang mag-imbestiga. He should have read even the rules of the Senate on that. You see, we're investigating him. We would like to invite him not because he is a sitting senator, but because he was, during the time of the war on drugs, the Director General of the Philippine National Police, and under his stewardship, libo-libo ang napatay.
Yes, we will invite the former president to enlighten us dun sa issue on the war on drugs, no? And maybe he can shed some information that will be of help, no, in the writing of the committee report, especially dun sa remedial legislation na plano naming maging produkto nito, no? And his expertise, his wisdom will be appreciated by the Quadcom. Kaya kailangan naming marinig sa kanya mismo.
Gusto ko na maprosecute itong mga taong ito. Hindi lamang po legislation, kundi kapag nakita natin dito sa investigasyon na ito na mayroong mga nagkasala dito, mayroong gumawa ng krimen dito, dapat yan i-prosecute. Whether it be DOJ o Ombudsman, is up to them. To prosecute these people sapagkat kinakailangan na to address this problem. Sapagkat naniniwala po kami dito na hindi lamang ito criminal organization. This is actually a syndicate. Whether you call it political or economic, whatever it might be, this is a syndicate operating in our country. There might be a quota system in the Philippine National Police, number one. Although dinidinay ito ng iba, no? Pero ibang mga pulis na nasabi nila ito. Pangalawa, there's a reward system. So, ibig sabihin, sa reward system na yan, kapag nakapatay ka ng drug pusher, may reward ka. Nalaman namin na this is a testimony of one of the policemen that we have, officers, from 20,000 to 60,000 yung binabayad dyan. You see, yan testimony. We'd like to find out why. We'd like to find out saan nanggagaling ang pera. Sapagkat nalaman namin, nanggagaling yan sa Pogo Money. Nanggagaling sa gambling money yan.
Yung mga torture na ginagawa sa mga empleyado ng Pogo, malaking bahagi yon ng human rights. Kasi forced labor dun sa report ng PAOK, sinasabi nila na pinipilit nila yung mga empleyado to work more than 18 hours. Imagine, para lang maka-achieve sila ng quota kasi may quota silang hinahabol. So, yan, isa yan bahagi ng human rights na dapat nating tingnan. No? Bukod dun sa murder that are committed against Pogo employees, yung torture, yung human trafficking dyan, kidnapping, lahat nandiyan dyan.
May mga accusations against the former president. Di po ba? And it is but right and proper that we also give him the opportunity to defend himself. So that is precisely the reason why and the basis why the committee would invite him if he would accede to our invitation so that he can answer the accusations leveled against him. And I think that is part of due process. Marami pong salamat.
Naniniwala ako na yung investigasyon namin ito is actually a national security concern. Unang-una, we invited the former president to come, no? And he did not come. Imbitahan namin uli siya. The thing is, even the other committees would want to invite the former president. Sapagkat siya lang ang makakasagot ng mga tanong na ito sa aking committee. Bakit tinasabi ng NUPL na more than 20,000 ang napatay? 16,000 ang napatay ng the vigilante forces. Nakatanggap kami ng datos mula sa Philippine National Police na nagsasabi doon Nabang na 21 lang ang napatay ng mga drug lords, pero more than 7,000 ang napatay ng mga drug pushers. At 440 people ang drug users na hindi dapat patayin, hindi dapat arestuhin, kundi dapat i-rehabilitate, ay napatay. At hindi lang to, na-find out din namin na may reward system. Saan ang gagaling ang pera na binibigay sa mga nakakapatay ng mga pulis? Yun ang tanong namin dito. Kaya sabi namin, magkakasundo-sundo na kami para maimbitahan ang dating Pangulo para sagutin niya ang lahat ng mga bagay na ito because this concerns our national security at siya lamang ang makakasagot nito.
Thank you po, Kongs. Last on my... Ay, sige po, Kong
Dagdagan
Ace.
ko lang, kasi itong pag-create ng Quadcom ay sangayon ito sa rules ng House, no? Dun sa Rules of Procedure Governing Inquiries in Aid of Legislation. So, hindi po ito bago, although this is historic as I stated earlier. Kasi ngayon pa lang tayo nagkaroon ng ganitong klaseng multi-committees that will hear a common issue that encompasses all the coverage of the different committees. So, we thought it wise na para isang hearing tayo, hindi din aksayado yung oras ng ating mga inimbitahang resource persons, isang hearing tayo na gagawin natin.
Sino po yung mga... Nabanggit na po kanina ni Kong Benny na we will invite the former president. Sino pa po yung mga, kumbaga, common resource person na iimbitahin po?
Iimbitahan din namin sapagkat kasama rin dito si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Imbitahan namin siya. Now, it's up to him kung pupunta siya o hindi. Si Harry Roque, imbitahan din namin siya. Lahat ng mga dating mga director generals na involved sa mga pagpatay during the war on drugs, iimbitahan din po namin.
Isang malaking criminal organization ang aming teorya na nag-ooperate sa ating bansa. And because of that, no, we will have to come up with a legislation to ensure that this will not happen anymore kung meron tayong batas. Pangalawa, yung strict implementation nitong batas na gagawin natin. At pangatlo, syempre, bringing them to justice. No? Yan ang napaka-importante dyan. Thank you.
Supporting what Chairman Barber said, no, I really would like to say this, no. Dalawang bagay ang gagawin namin dito Unang-una, yung sinasabi niyang remedial legislation. Pangalawa, gusto ko na ma-prosecute itong mga taong ito. Hindi lamang po legislation, kundi kapag nakita natin dito sa investigasyon na ito, na merong mga nagkasala dito, merong gumawa ng krimen dito, dapat yan i-prosecute. Whether it be DOJ o Ombudsman, is up to them. To prosecute these people sapagkat kinakailangan na to address this problem. Sapagkat naniniwala po kami dito na hindi lamang ito criminal organization. This is actually a syndicate. Whether you call it political or economic, whatever it might be, this is a syndicate operating in our country. Yun ang aming pag-aakala dito. Kaya kami nagkatipon. Alright.
Sir, I have two questions po. Sir, first kay Congressman Abante. Tanong ko lang po if tama po ba na isama yung human rights? Kasi yung iniimbestigahan po ng human rights happened before yung mga alleged EJK. Tapos ito naman pong Pogo, yung sa Mexico, recent lang naman po siya. I mean, paano, pwede po mapaliwanag kung paano i-intertwine yung dalawang issue?
There are exchange of money here, ba? Ibig sabihin, ang nakita namin na there might be a quota system in the Philippine National Police, number one. Although dinideny ito ng iba, no? Pero ibang mga police na sabi nila ito. Pangalawa, there's a reward system. So, ibig sabihin, sa reward system na yan, kapag nakapatay ka ng drug pusher, may reward ka. Nalaman namin na this is a testimony of one of the policemen that we have, officers, from 20,000 to 60,000 ang binabayad dyan. You see, yan testimony. We'd like to find out why. We'd like to find out saan nanggagaling ang pera. Sapagkat nalaman namin, nanggagaling yan sa Pogo money. Nanggagaling sa gambling money yan. Oo. Sa drugs naman, alam natin na ang pinatay nung panahon ng war on drugs ay mga drug pushers, mga drug lords, pero nadamay ang mga drug users. Nadamay, merong mistaken identity. In fact, in our last hearing, merong 9 years old na bata na pinatay, binaril, pero nakalagay death certificate pneumonia. Walang police report ang ginawa yung 4 na police na nag-imbestiga. Anong ibig sabihin po nito? Anong ibig sabihin niya? Wala kaming makita, wala kaming malaman kung ano nangyari dito. Kawawa yung ama na nagsabi, yung aking anak pinatay, andun ang bala. Nung pinatay siya, yung bala hindi na natanggal, andun pa rin. Pero yung death certificate, ano nakalagay? Pneumonia.
Sir, just to follow up, I get na meron siyang correlation sa dangerous drugs. Pero sa Pogo and sa Mexico, Pampanga, ano pong connection niya, sir?
Yung exchange ng pera, yung pera, yung galing sa Pogo, galing sa gambling, na binabayad doon sa mga kapulisan natin.
Bukod doon, no, yung nakita natin na pinalabas sa Committee on Public Order, yung mga torture na ginagawa sa mga empleyado ng Pogo. Malaking bahagi yun ng human rights kasi forced labor doon sa report ng PAOK, sinasabi nila na pinipilit nila yung mga empleyado to work more than 18 hours. Imagine, para lang maka-achieve sila ng quota kasi may quota silang hinahabol. So, yan, isa yan bahagi ng human rights na dapat nating tingnan. No? Bukod dun sa murder that are committed against Pogo employees, yung torture, yung human trafficking dyan, kidnapping, lahat nandiyan dyan.
By the way, Chairman Barbers, nalaman din namin na meron din tayong police officers that are victims of human rights. Mga police officers na ginamit lamang. Ginamit. They did not really want to kill anyone, pero ginamit sila. Ang gusto natin malaman, sino yung gumamit? Ba't ginamit itong mga taong ito? And I would like to ask the police officers, even right now, kapag kayo, ginamit kayo, victim kayo ng human rights, sumigaw na kayo. Sabihin nyo na sa amin yan. Kailangan nating malaman ito.
May I? Yes. Kayo yung nasa media, di po ba? And you have been members of the media, even during the past administration. If you remember, ang centerpiece ng the past administration is the war on drugs. I think we agree on that. And the reason why it was the centerpiece because alam po nila na dahil sa drugs, maraming krimen na nangyari. Lahat ng karamihan ng krimen, it's connected to illegal drugs. Yun ang dahilan. After the administration, yung past administration namin, marami pa rin remnants na gumagawa ng mali For example, doon po sa nangyari sa San Juan, Batangas, yung tao, wala namang bypass na nangyari Basta binaril na lang yung tao. That's extrajudicial killing. Doon sa akin sa Antipolo, nag-kidnap sila ng tao dahil itinuro lang ng isang asset nila. Yung bata, college student sa Fatima, nasira tuloy yung buhay niya dahil nakakulong. So, I think, kung titingnan po natin, lahat po nung aspeto ng mga committee na ito ay nag-originate doon po sa iisa, yung sa illegal drugs. So, yun po ang dahilan kung bakit kami nag-isip na dapat a committee or a quad committee, ito na lang ang mag-hear nito para makorelate lahat. Ang hirap pong magtagpi kung hiwa-hiwalay po kami. Marami pong salamat.
Kung sabi nyo kanina, invite nyo si former President Duterte, how about, say, Senator Bato de la Rosa po?
Can you repeat the question, please?
I-invite nyo rin po ba si Senator Bato?
Yes, we are going to invite him. Definitely, we will. By the way, we're not inviting him because he's a senator, no? We're inviting him because he used to be the Director General in which libo-libo ang napatay. Kaya I just like to say this, no, ha? Sinasabi niya kasi na wala kaming karapatang mag-imbestiga. Meron kaming karapatang mag-imbestiga. He should have read even the rules of the Senate on that. You see, we're investigating him. We would like to invite him not because he is a sitting senator, but because he was, during the time of the war on drugs, the Director General of the Philippine National Police. And under his stewardship, libo-libo ang napatay.
Good morning po, Jonathan Andal sa GMA News. Since dahil magiging Quadcom na po, mag-issue ba kayo ng bagong invitation kay former President Duterte signed by all four chair?
Yes, we will invite the former president to enlighten us dun sa issue on the war on drugs, no? And maybe he can shed some information that will be of help, no, in the writing of the committee report, especially dun sa remedial legislation na plano naming maging produkto nito, no. And his expertise, his wisdom will be appreciated by the Quadcom. Kaya kailangan naming marinig sa kanya mismo.
I understand yung initial reason ba't siya iimbita dahil sa war on drugs. Pero pag-uusapan din kasi sa Quadcom yung Pogo. May gusto ba kayong itanong sa dating Pangulo tungkol sa Pogo?
Well, basically, we have heard dun sa committee natin, no, that he issued Executive Order number 13 transferring the authority of CESA to conduct yung mga online gaming to PAGCOR. And because of this transfer of the power from CESA to PAGCOR, nag-proliferate yung mga illegal POGOs, considering all the criminal elements that we have seen, no? Ano yung rationale why this executive order was issued? But of course, meron di ba? But we have seen yung maraming elements sa drugs, sa POGOs, sa buying of properties, sa EJK, na a while ago we are trying to correlate each other. And sino yung pinagmulan ng lahat ng ito? There must be something on top of everything. Hindi naman pumasok tong mga elementong to ng ganun lamang di ba? And probably this is the objective of this committee, to find out, di ba? Kasi aside from crafting the right bills na magiging batas, syempre yung ang pananagutan ng mga nagperpetrate nitong mga problems that we are now trying to solve.
Anong particular question po yung gusto nyong itanong kay former President Duterte tungkol sa Pogo, Congressman Dan?
Well, actually, siyempre, mahirap sagutin yung ngayon na sasabihin na namin kung ano katanungan. We will just go with the flow. We'll be inviting him to shed light on all the issues pertaining do sa issues ng public order and safety, na compromise ba yung ating national security, and yung narrative that we are gearing toward a certain and one specific country, and instead of trying to be impartial about everything in order to maximize yung benefits that we can get to those countries. Those are the issues that we have to tackle. And there are common denominator that existed in all this problem that we have encountered. Isa lang ang common denominator. Sa buying of properties, mga corporations owned by Chinese. Yung mga drugs entered in our country, all Chinese. Yung POGOs, that we encountered a lot of criminal elements perpetrated by Chinese. Di ba? These are all connected. And because of this kind of interconnection, the implementation of all these orders, nagbunga noong mga extrajudicial killings, di ba? That intertwined with drugs, di ba? Kaya marami tayong dapat itanong na dapat maintindihan ng tao, dahil meron dito talagang yung pinuntahang isang pagpanig sa isang bansa at hindi pagpanig sa isang bansa. And I think the President is right on trying to put himself in a middle in order to maximize the benefits of the two countries. Kasi yun yung pinaka-outmost concern natin. Bakit tayo parang nandun, magiging probinsya na tayo ng China, ito ba ay tinatawag na mind conditioning to all of us? There must be something on top that somehow controlled us. Yun lang.
We have to be thorough about this investigation. Ayaw naman natin na na-create ito at wala tayong produkto, no? As you probably all know, ang Kongresong mandato ng Kongreso ay gumawa ng batas, no? At hindi ganoon kadali para sa ganitong klaseng issue na gumawa tayo ng batas. That's why we want to be thorough about this. If this will take several hearings, if there is a necessity also to go around the country to conduct public hearings, why not? And if we feel that sufficient na yan, then that's the time siguro ihinto namin.
Sa sandaling mag-convene na yung Quadcom, may we know what will happen doon sa mga personalities involved doon sa 4 na committee na na-issuehan ng show cause order at saka warrant of arrest na until now they refuse to show up.
Okay, thank you. No. Anyway, the contempt and the contempt order that was issued to different personalities, and that includes Michael Yang, and that includes Michael Yang, that will be only lifted, of course, if the resolution and the committee report was adopted in the plenary. So, automatic lifted yan. But of course, if the presence of all those cited in contempt by each committee, if their presence is needed and necessary in this Quadcom committee, papatawag ulit namin. So, again, if they refuse to attend hearings without valid excuse, therefore, they can be cited again in contempt. But sa committee level po, it will be automatically lifted pag dumating na po sa plenary approval or adoption ng committee report.
Just a clarification lang. Meaning to say, the committee report ng 4 na committee before mag-convene ng Quadcom will be submitted to plenary?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Sabi ko kasi kanina, as I've said, there are issues or resolution that concerns parochial. No?
Okay.
So, tuloy-tuloy lang po yun until such time that a committee report will be approved at the committee level and adopted in plenary. While ongoing hearing dito sa Quadcom, if that committee report or data or facts, testimonies is needed to be used in this Quadcom, it can be used. For example lang ganito, yung sa case ni Michael Yang, that's why gusto ko lang dugtungan yung sinabi kanina ng mga kasamaan ko dito with regards to the presence of the President that will be invited by the Quadcom. Now, for example, the person who Michael Yang, alam naman ng public who is Michael Yang, di ba? Until now, he's a fugitive. He's cited in contempt sa committee. Now, alam naman po natin, lahat ngayon dito, nakaumang doon kay Michael Yang. For example, in my committee, Edith Tayang, etong si Willie Ong, konektado yung kapatid niya, ngayon dito sa Pogo, konektado doon sa, may isa pa, konektado sa Parmali. So, it is only the President, previous administration, or the past President that can answer this. Because nobody can answer with regards to the appointment, so-called appointment of Michael Yang. Di ba? As an economic advisor during that time. Whether that is official, hindi ko nakita yung dokumento, but it was announced in public. And Michael Yang now cannot be found. Tapos, itong Michael Yang ngayon, konektado sa lahat. Pogo, drugs, sa akin, sa committee ko, yung mga Chinese national pretending to be Filipinos, yung mga tao doon, konektado sa kanya. So, who can answer this? I think nobody. Unless until we can catch up with Michael Yang or President Duterte himself. Thank you po.
Your question is, what happens to those people who were cited in contempt by the different committees? It would remain until, as far as our rules are concerned, until the final committee report is presented to the plenary. So, until they present themselves to the committee, if they present themselves to the committee, the contempt order will be lifted. If they will not appear up to the time that the committee report will be submitted to the plenary, it would only be the time na ma-lift din yung contempt nila. Yun po yung kwan. Now, this is a different committee. It's known as the Quad Committee. The committee would follow the rules of the House. I think the rules to be followed by the committee, Quad Committee is already being, shall we say, by the different COMSEC. They're preparing the rules to be followed by this committee already. So we can invite any person we want to, who would be necessary to provide us the necessary information. We can also cite people invited for contempt if they do not appear. Para bang ganun pa rin dun sa different committees dito. Thank you.
Nabanggit na po ni Kong Apcop kanina na the same rules of the committee will apply to this Quadcom in terms of how you will invite resource persons and whether you can cite them in contempt if they don't appear. I'm wondering how that would extend to when you invite President Duterte, because if I remember correctly, nung in-invite po siya ni Kong Abante for the Committee on Human Rights, he extended what they call this presidential courtesy in that hindi naman po magli-lead to a show cause order or anything. If the Quadcom invites President Duterte, will that privilege be also extended to him, or is it the kind where if he doesn't show up, as I'm sure he will likely be doing, pwede po ba ito mag-lead to a citation of contempt?
Ako, I think we have to exhaust every possibilities, if the President, again, hindi umattend doon sa papatawag nating hearings, maraming option that we can possibly do, trying to issue a show cause order. Most likely, we will be refraining muna sa ganong aksyon. But for the meantime, the chairman and the members are talking about different kind of options. So, wag muna natin sigurong pag-usapan yun. Let it really flow in the natural way. Para na sa ganun, wag natin ma-preempt yung sitwasyon.
Thank you. Joy Cantos from Filipino Star ngayon.
Sir, nasang level po yung grand conspiracy between dito sa mga POGO operators at sa mga airing government officials natin na involved po? Kasi yung POGOs po na-establish doon yung involved din sa organized crime syndicates. Meron pa nga pong mga human trafficking, may drugs, may love scam pa. Pinasok na rin lahat ng scam po eh. Sige po. Po, kasi po yung some government officials po natin involved din, past, pwedeng meron din sa present kasi nakapag-produce sila ng mga birth certificate, ng mga fake passport. Hindi naman po mangyayari kung walang connivance.
Ito po kasi, again, as I've said, it started it all with by committee, doon po sa mga late registration, PSA, doon. Pag nakakuha na po ng, of course, sa PSA level, pag nakakuha na, pag nakalusot, pwede na mag-LTO, diba, driver's license, pwede na mag-passports, etc. Gun license, pwede rin, fucking, pwede may mga baril. But anyway, so, question, it's either directly involved, yung mga personal sa agency, or because of the weak guidelines, and practices doon mismo sa mga agencies. Pero of course, in the case of, this is Parokya, in the case of Mexico, Pampanga, malinaw po na yung mayor doon is involved. Is in courts with Eddie Tayang. So, kung titingnan mo, kung nangyayari ito sa municipal level, at yan ito, yung POGO at saka yung drugs. Siyempre, yung buong connection nito from the lower level up to the higher level, ang question na ngayon is, dapat malinaw kung ano talagang, kung sino ang mananagot dito sa national level. Kasi, as mentioned by Chairman Dan kanina, kaya kumalat yung POGO dahil doon sa EO13 But of course, this is not a conclusive, by the members of this Quadcom. Ang sa akin lang po is, of course, may managot dyan. Now, kaya nga, gusto kong ibalik, it's the former president that issues that EO, kung pogong pag-uusapan, he has to answer that. Diba? So, ano yan, napaka-complicated na net ng mga sindikato. In which, ngayon, karamihan is involved yung mga foreign nationals na mga Chinese.
Mr. Chair, may I? Thank you. Doon po kasi sa nangyayari sa atin, some people are taking advantage of the loopholes of our laws. Some people have also taken advantage doon sa masamang kultura natin kung minsan, especially in the implementation of our laws. Kasi, we take a specific example kung bakit nagkakaroon ng passport yung alien, for example, Chinese. Kasi, inallow natin na magkaroon ng late registration. For example, Alice Go, 17 years. 17 years old nung na-register yung birth niya eh. So, it was registered in a local civil registry. Hindi natin malam kung yung local civil registry, sinunod niya yung patakaran nila para magkaroon ng tamang late na pagka-register na kanyang birth. Now, tinanong din namin kasi i-report ng local civil registry sa PSA where we get all our birth certificates to support yung ating pag-apply dun sa passport. Yung tinignan din namin yung protocol ng PSA, ang sagot nga sa amin nun, ministerial lang yung kanilang gawain eh. So there's something missing doon sa ating mga batas at sa ating mga guidelines or protocols. So we have to look into this para ma-plug yung mga loopholes na ito. And I think that's part of the reason why kailangan maimbestigan ng Quadcom para, yun nga, magkaroon ng remedial measures after the hearings conducted by this body. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ako, sagutin ko lang yung katanungan mo na gaano kalawak, ano? So, sa investigasyon natin sa PNP, naniniwala tayo na maraming involved, ano? Doon lang sa successful operation, tapos na-relieve yung mga officers and men, tapos they were scattered all over the country. Instead, nandito sila, pagpapatuloy yung laban doon sa mga illegal gamblings, illegal pogos, inalis sila dito sa kanilang area of jurisdiction na naging successful. We have found out na yung issue ng mga ng ating mga opisyal ay umaakyat hanggang itaas. Having said that, no, meron din sa issue ng mga LGUs, sa mga mayors. Well, hindi natin alam kung gaano kalawak itong involvement ng mga public official elected, and even yung mga appointed sa PSA, they were appointed, but of course hindi natin alam kung gaano kahaba yung ammunition ng mga ating mga kalaban. Kasi ang pipili mo dito kaya lumalawak to dahil sa pera, no? So in other words, kaya natin inaalam dahil national security na nga po ang concern dito, yung ating pong bayan. So mamimili ka na dito, di ba? Pera o bayan. Yun lang po.
Sir, with regards to the bloody war on drugs, sir, based sa statement po ng mga naging witness and resource person, sama na natin si Colonel Asierto, is there a compelling reason to believe that the ex-President Duterte is really the mastermind of the EJK? Is there really an order to kill outside the very ambit of the judicial system, or is just merely a contributive factor? Kasi may mga statement siya before, although wala namang sir, may sinasabi sa mga pulis, nasa grandstand pa nga ako noon, kill 1,000 and I'll protect you.
Well, we will cross the bridge when we get there. No? Kasi inaakusahan siya ng NUPL, for example, like Attorney Nery Colmenares, Attorney Conti, and the other NUPL leaders, like, for example, Attorney Adel Jokno, in my hearing, and even Makabayan Black have actually accused him to be the mastermind of this. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out in our hearings.
Mr. Chair, in the committee of the Honorable Abante, may mga accusations against the former president. Di po ba? And it is but right and proper that we also give him the opportunity to defend himself. So that is precisely the reason why and the basis why the committee would invite him if he would accede to our invitation so that he can answer the accusations leveled against him. And I think that is part of due process. Marami pong salamat.
I request that the questions, Madam Chair, be, you will allow me this because you allowed him to speak about DepEd, which is not related to OVP. According to Kate and Ida, the former secretary of the CPP-NPA's Sub-Regional Committee 5, revealing concerning associations of Representative Raul Manuel.
So,
came home in a coffin.
yung sinasabi po ng Marites o galing yan sa chismis. So, hindi natin
Galing po
pwede,
ito sa
Madam Chair,
10 million peso project na children's book. Tell the committee sino po ang editor ng children's book na ito. Madam Chair,
to the House of Representatives
I told
to
the
decide
resource person
the
to tell
proposal
this
as
committee
presented.
the name of the auditor of the children's book.
The name of the editor of the book is Raul Manuel. It's a joke, ma'am. You strike it out of the record if you want.
I have a question of clarification.
Yes, our honorable
your statement,
Lawyer Macapagal-Arroyo, please.
you quoted your letter saying that you want the utilization rate for previous years. It was not a letter asking for how the budgets were expended, especially on questions that we, as a House, decided on already last year.
Yes, Madam, it says comparative budget allocation. So that phrase is interpreted as how the fund was used. So I hope that is a sufficient explanation. And with that, we proceed to our next interpreter from the minority. We have the Honorable Raul Manuel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, kaya naman natin to ginagawa dahil bilang mga public officials, responsibilidad po natin ito sa taong bayan na nanonood po sa atin kung paano natin ginagastos ang pera ng taong bayan, Madam Chair. So, as to my question, since the Vice President also served as DepEd Secretary, in fact, wala po siyang separate basic salary nung siya ay DepEd Secretary, kaya actually intertwined din, no? Tumatagos yung role niya as VP and as DepEd Secretary. So I have questions, Madam Chair, dun sa confidential funds for 2023 ng Department of Education, and if the resource person would want to answer, andyan naman po yung opportunity na binubukas sa kanya ng Kamara. So Madam Chair, can we confirm from the Vice President na nag-submit ng accomplishment report sa paggamit ng DepEd confidential funds for 2023 sa Senate President at sa Speaker of the House?
Madam Vice President. Madam Chair, the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education have separate mandates. The roles of the Vice President and the Secretary of Education are not intertwined. And Madam Chair, I cannot speak for the Department of Education as I am not the Secretary anymore. Again, Madam Chair, hindi pala DepEd pala ito, no? O sige, anong mo si DepEd yan? Honorable Manuel,
Madam Chair, iba na po ang DepEd Secretary natin ngayon na hindi naman nag-request ng confidential fund. Ang nag-request po noon as the DepEd Secretary ay ang Vice President. And Madam Chair, in all agencies, lagi ini-invoke national security, pag-target dun sa mga suspected na mga grupo. So, yung ganong tinake on na mandato, Madam Chair, kahit originally wala naman talaga yun sa OVP tsaka DepEd, tinake on ng resource person. Kaya ngayon, hindi dapat iwasan na sagutin din yun given ang tinake on na tasks ng resource person. Kasi Madam Chair, sige kung hindi po niya sasagutin, sa accomplishment report kasi for the first quarter of 2023, nabanggit po doon na yung confidential funds ng DepEd ginamit sa counter-insurgency program, prevention of recruitment by rebel and leftist groups among students and teachers. Meron din, Madam Chair, anti-terrorism programs, including the gathering of necessary information to implement peace and order within DepEd. Pareho din ang actual outcome tsaka ang kinlaim na accomplishments, Madam Chair, for second quarter and third quarter of 2023. So, gusto nating i-present din sa committee na ito, Madam Chair, na sa mga dokumento na sinubmit din ng Commission on Audit, part po ng certification sa paggamit ng DepEd Confidential Fund ay galing sa mga military units. And Madam Chair, we have copies of those documents. Ang DepEd use of confidential funds in partnership with the 1st Infantry Division of Zamboanga del Sur, 5th Infantry Division of Isabela, 7th Infantry Division of Nueva Ecija, 9th Infantry Division of Camarines Sur. At ang mga activities nila, Madam Chair, ay mga youth leadership summits, yun po yung tawag nila doon, at mga information education campaigns. Now, can we present yung slide, Madam Chair? May pinipare po tayo as a sample sa ano yung mga pinapamahagi ng mga pamphlets sa ganitong mga di umano'y Youth Leadership Summit tsaka Information Education Campaign. Ayun, Madam Chair, ang sabi po dyan, kapag nagsuot ka lang ng flag na may nakasulat na Serve the People, di ba, Madam Chair, napakagandang pakinggan, pero para po sa DepEd, Madam Chair, ang mga nagsusuot daw ng ganon, dapat i-report sa DepEd. At bahagi po ng paggamit nila ng confidential fund ay pagpapakalat ng ganitong napaka-malicious na kaisipan, Madam Chair. And given that we already have a Supreme Court ruling na nagsasabing nakakapahamak sa buhay na ating mga bata, mga kabataan, ang ganitong mga tipo ng propaganda, Madam Chair, it seems na para pala sa DepEd, accomplishment ang pagpapahamak ng buhay ng mga estudyante at ng mga teacher. In fact, under the now resigned DepEd Secretary, they violated their own order, Madam Chair. They have a Department Order Number 32, Series of 2019, ang sabi doon, Madam Chair, ay bawal, and I quote, schools shall not be utilized for military purposes. This includes the conduct of anti-insurgency information activities or such other related uses that may endanger the lives of learners and school personnel. So, Madam Chair, lumala yung education crisis, pero 30 seconds. Yun pa ang naging paggamit ng DepEd Confidential Funds, Madam Chair. Next slide, Madam Chair, so we can wrap up. Ganito yung breakdown ng paggamit ng DepEd Confidential Funds, Madam Chair. Kung mapapansin, gumamit lang for first, second, and third quarter. Tapos, Madam Chair, bawat quarter, pare-pareho yung amounts ng paggamit, 37.5 million pesos. And this is confirmed by the audit observation memo ng COA, Madam Chair. And, Madam Chair, we take note, June, July, which falls in the second and third quarter, wala pong pasok sa mga paaralan. So, yung question natin, ano yung ginawa ng DepEd at bakit magkakapareho yung rates ng paggamit ng confidential funds? So, ang isa sa makikita natin dito, Madam Chair, we can't deny na it seems ay kaduda-duda yung ganong pinepresent ng DepEd na paggamit ng confidential funds. Yun na lang, Madam Chair. Salamat.
Madam Vice President. Yes. Madam Chair, the invitation for this budget hearing was the budget proposal of fiscal year 2025 of the Office of the Vice President. I request that the questions, Madam Chair, be related to the subject of the budget hearing, which is the OVP 2025 budget proposal. And Madam Chair, you will allow me this because you allowed him to speak about DepEd, which is not related to OVP. According to Kate and Ida, the former secretary of the CPP-NPA's Sub-Regional Committee 5, revealing concerning associations of Representative Raul Manuel with the NPA units in Southern Mindanao, alleging that he visited
Madam Chair, point of order.
Sitio Bolos, Barangay Daguhoy, Tal-Inog, Davao del Norte in 2017. And his alleged connections with the CPP-NPA coupled with the recruitment activities involving Kabataan Party List. Rendell, who was missing for 11 months and
Madam Chair, point of order, Madam Chair. So,
and came home in a coffin.
yung sinasabi po ng ating Vice President ay allege. So, ang ibig sabihin niyan, marites or galing yan sa chismis.
Okay, so,
hindi natin
galing po
pwede,
ito sa
Madam Chair,
NPA.
ang Office of the Vice President.
Let Chair rule. So, yes, we will take note of the request of our Madam Vice President. Let's stick to our topic.
Madam Chair, kasi I started with questions on the DepEd confidential funds for 2023. Tingin ko, Madam Chair, if the resource person is proud of her accomplishments sa counterinsurgency tsaka anti-terror efforts, she should avail of this opportunity to explain na sana, kasi di naman na siya kasama sa upcoming DepEd budget briefing. This will also set a bad precedent na kung nag-resign ka sa isang posisyon ay hindi ka na pwedeng matanong sa kung paano ka gumamit ng pondo na ikaw din naman yung nag-propose. Also, Madam Chair, yung DepEd confidential funds, that's in line with her role as NTFL co-vice chair, kahit nga wala naman yung posisyon na yun sa EO70 of 2018. Pero given na ganun ka aktibo ang vice-presidente sa ganung usapin. So, Madam Chair, again, gusto lang nating i-present na yung table natin kanina kasi doon natin mapapakita na meron ding lumilitaw na pattern gaya ng na-raise ni Congresswoman Sonsing. Dito naman sa DepEd confidential funds may pattern din. So ma-present po sana natin ang table. Ayan. Balik po. Ayan, oo. 37.5 million no, sa bawat quarter. Ganun po ka-exact, Madam Chair. Pero similarly sa nabanggit din kanina ni Kong Rog, kahit sa DepEd, Madam Chair, for 2023 fourth quarter, hindi na rin ginamit yung confidential funds for DepEd. Kaya, Madam Chair, can we confirm sa part po ng COA, I'll address this question to COA, na nag-issue po kayo ng audit observation memo for DepEd confidential funds for third quarter of 2023.
Madam Vice President.
It's
Sorry,
to COA.
ASCOM Juliano.
Madam Chair, I have no personal knowledge about the audit of Intel and confidential fund, but maybe it's in the compliance report submitted by COA to the subpoena issued by the House of Representatives.
So hindi po wala pong knowledge ang ating rep ngayon from COA na nabanggit po doon, and I quote, "The propriety of the transactions could not be ascertained as the submitted liquidation reports were not fully supported with complete and proper documentations as required under Joint Circular number 2015-01. Hindi po ninyo yun mako-confirm?
Hindi po ako nag-audit. Selected lang po yung...
But you represent the agency in this budget briefing. So supposedly you can confirm or ascertain yung ilan sa mga nasa site na galing din naman sa COA.
I have the records, Your Honor, about of the transactions and the details of the audit.
Madam Chair, I think the answer will not suffice. Can we request or even give a brief amount of time from our representative from COA tungkol po sa matter na ito para po ma-confirm nila?
Madam Chair, as already explained earlier, the purpose of my presence here is to give the rationale about the compliance of COA to the subpoena duces tecum. I'm not the official who supervises the Intelligence and Confidential Audit Unit, because it is a dedicated unit solely for confidential funds. It could not be seen by other officials except the staff of the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Unit.
Okay, so ganito na lang Madam Chair, since ang basis po natin ay galing din naman sa documents na pinrovide ng COA dahil dun sa ating subpoena duces tecum, then I move Madam Chair na kung meron ng updates from COA regarding the deficiencies of the Office of the Vice President sa DepEd confidential funds for third quarter of 2023, ay formally ma-inform po ang Committee on Appropriations. I so move Madam Chair. I reiterate my motion.
It's an action for
COA, Madam Chair. Yes, to provide us with updates given na meron siyang audit observation memo on that confidential fund. Ibig sabihin ongoing pa yung evaluation process. Then kapag may mga updates ay formally i-provide yon sa committee, Madam Chair.
Before we rule on the motion, ASCOM, is this something that can be done?
If it's a pending audit, it is within the exception of the COA circular on the release of document.
I said, Madam Chair, after, ibig sabihin pag may mga concrete updates na, saka mag-provide ng update sa committee na ito. So we will allow COA to proceed with due course sa dapat pa niyang gawin after that audit observation memo. Tas kung may concrete updates, Madam Chair, yun yung i-provide dito sa committee.
Okay, so ASCOM, could you submit as required by the Honorable Manuel?
Madam Chair, we will wait for the official document from the from the Committee on Appropriations, and then we will study it and comply if there's no legal impediment or violation of our own rules.
Is that a sufficient response?
Yeah, I think that would suffice, Madam Chair. Thank you. Next topic, Madam Chair, since ang gusto ng OVP ay 2025 budget, mapag-usapan din natin siya maliban sa past budgets. Madam Chair, I'd like to discuss yung 10 million peso project na children's book. Madam Chair, dahil ayaw din po ng resource person na question and answer, then ang paraan ko na lang po ay hindi pa tanong. Tell the committee sino po ang editor ng children's book na ito.
Madam Vice President.
Madam Chair, all the answers are, wala yan doon sa opening statement. I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer. And I
Madam
leave
Chair,
it to the House of Representatives
to
decide on the
to
proposal
tell this
as
committee
presented.
the name of the auditor of the children's book.
Yan ang nangyayari kapag
Honorable
hindi
Well,
na
ask a question. I ask the resource person to tell the name, pero baka hindi pa na-distinguish ano yung tanong, ano yung hindi. Pero since ayaw pong ibigay yung name ng editor ng children's book, ito kasi yung point natin, Madam Chair. The book contains many errors. Sige po, pakita po natin. Kasama po dyan dahon ng banahaw. Wala naman pong dahon ng banahaw. Baka anahaw po yung tinutukoy. Yung word na sila, dapat po sina. Tapos yung walang awa, dapat nga may hyphen po yan. Tapos, Madam Chair, nakalagay din yung pugad daw ng kwago ay nakapatong sa sanga. Madam Chair, sabi ng mga eksperto, ang owl's nest hindi po ay nakapatong sa sanga. Nasa either butas po yan ng mga puno or nasa ilalim ng lupa. Next, Madam Chair, this book is not child-friendly as per writers kasi pag children's book, Madam Chair, hindi lang yung text yung mahalaga, pati yung visuals, Madam Chair. So, yung illustrations are not cohesive, para yung elements pinatong lang sa background, tapos low value ito for illustrations kasi, Madam Chair, kahit nga yung pangalan ng illustrators ay maliit compared dun sa pangalan ng author. When in fact, for a children's book, magkasimbigat po ang papel ng illustrator tsaka ng author. Also, Madam Chair, sa content, nag-i-impose po siya na kung paano dapat umasta ang isang kaibigan, but Madam Chair, for children's books, dapat hindi siya nag-impose ng anumang bagay sa bata. It should be fun. Masaya lang dapat yung bata na binabasa yung libro. So, Madam Chair, this book na pinopropose na pondohan, and actually, ang topic na nga natin, 2025 budget, gusto ng resource person, we limit to the 2025 budget, pero hindi pa rin sinasagot. But this book, Madam Chair, will just contribute to the worsening of the learning crisis. Hindi po siya actually ay makabata. Kaya, Madam Chair, before I end sa second round, kasi kanina meron din pong ad hominem sa atin, meron pang disinformation about this representation. Madam Chair, kung okay lang naman yung mga libro at halimbawa kung totoo pa yung sinasabi about me, I would even suggest sa OVP, dagdagan yung budget, baka makalimang libro pa ang Vice Presidente. Pwede pa kami special edition tungkol sa kwento ng buhay ko. Pero given, Madam Chair, na hindi din talaga pumapasa sa standards ng pagsusulat ng libro. And I also think, Madam Chair, na throughout this hearing, hindi successfully na-defend yung budget ng Office of the Vice President. So, ako, personally, I'm inclined na hindi natin i-terminate yung budget briefing for the Office of the Vice President. So, yun na lang muna, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Madam Vice President.
Yes. The name of the editor of the book is Raul Manuel. It's a joke, ma'am. You strike it out of the record if you want.